Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that's, well, absolutely essential for any developer out there. We're going beyond the basics of just making a REST API. We're going to talk about how to make it strong, scalable, and truly ready for the real world, all using Spring Boot. So let's be real, if you've been coding for a bit, you've probably fired up a simple REST API. You know the drill. A few endpoints, hook it up to a database, and boom, it works. And it feels pretty good, right? Almost too easy. But that's where the story changes. Taking that simple Hello World API and making it ready for production. Something that can handle real users, real traffic, and is secure, fast, and reliable. That's where the real work, the real engineering kicks in. And today, that's exactly the gap we're going to close.
All right, so before we can build anything solid, you gotta have the right tools in your toolkit. So let's just take a quick moment and make sure we're all on the same page about the foundational tech we're working with. First up is REST itself. Now remember, REST isn't some fancy language or framework. It's more like a set of rules, an architectural style. It's all about using the standard HTTP methods we already know, like get, post, and delete, to work with data. The big thing to remember here is that REST is stateless. That means the server doesn't hold on to any memory of the client from one request to the next. Every single request has to come with all the info needed to be processed, like a user ID or an auth token. And our power tool for the job? Spring Boot, of course. Why? Well, for starters, its famous auto configuration gets you from zero to a running web server in just a few lines of code, no messy setup. It's also built from the ground up for modern microservices, which makes scaling your application way easier. Plus, the community is absolutely massive, which means whatever problem you run into, chances are someone has already solved it. It just makes life easier.
Okay, so we've got our tools. Now we need the blueprint. See, a truly production-ready API isn't just a bunch of code slapped together. It needs a strong foundation, and that foundation rests on 4 essential pillars. And here they are: thoughtful design, robust security, optimized performance, and guaranteed reliability. We're going to break down each one of these, and by the time we're done, you'll have a super clear framework for building APIs that are truly professional grade. Let's get things off with pillar number 1, design. And here is the absolute golden rule you have to remember. You are not your user. You're building this API for other developers, and if it's confusing or unpredictable, guess what? They just won't use it. It has to feel intuitive. So here are a few simple but incredibly powerful design rules. First, name your resources logically. Think nouns, not verbs. It should be /users, not /getUsers. Second, and this is a big one, always version your API. Something like /API/v1/. Trust me, this will save you so many headaches later because it lets you update things without breaking everyone else's code. And finally, use the standard HTTP status codes, a 200 OK or a 404 not found. These are universal signals that every developer understands right away. All right, on to our second pillar, and this one is completely non-negotiable: security. In a live environment, an insecure API isn't just a little bug, it's a massive vulnerability just waiting for someone to exploit it. It's like leaving the front door of your house wide open. So how do we lock this thing down? Well, first we need authentication. This answers the simple question, who is making this request? Next, using HTTPS is an absolute must, no excuses. It encrypts all the data flying back and forth so nobody can snoop on it. And finally, you have to treat every piece of incoming data like it's hostile. Validate everything to protect yourself from attacks like SQL injection. Just repeat this mantra: never ever trust user input. Pillar number 3 is all about performance. I mean, nobody likes a slow, clunky app, right? And a slow API can cause all sorts of problems in a big system. Your API needs to be fast, snappy, and efficient. The good news is we have some great techniques to boost performance. Caching is huge. If you can store frequently accessed data in memory, you save tons of trips to the database. For really heavy jobs, like generating a big report, use asynchronous processing. That way you don't leave the user just hanging there waiting. And please, if an endpoint could return thousands of results, you have to paginate it. Sending back data in smaller, bite-sized chunks is way better for everyone involved. And that brings us to our final pillar, reliability and monitoring. Look, it's not enough for your API to just work on day one. It has to keep working, day in and day out. And when things inevitably do break, you need to know about it, and why, immediately. This is where good ops practices really shine.
Instead of showing users some ugly, scary error message, set up global error handling to give clean, useful responses. Use structured logging. Think logging in a format like JSON. It makes searching through your logs to find that needle in a haystack so much easier. And you've got to use monitoring tools like Spring Boot Actuator, which gives you ready-made endpoints to check on the health and performance of your API in real time. So we've gone through all the best practices, the 4 pillars of a fantastic API. Now let's zoom out a little bit and look at the big picture, the architectural blueprint that's going to shape your entire system.
Generally, you've got 2 main paths. There's the traditional layered architecture, also known as the monolith, where everything is built as one single unit. This is usually simpler to get started with. On the other hand, you have a microservices architecture, which breaks your app into a bunch of small independent services. This gives you amazing flexibility and fault isolation. If one service fails, it doesn't bring down the whole ship. But it's also more complex to manage. There's no single right answer here. A monolith might be perfect for a new project, while a huge enterprise system might need microservices. It all depends on your project's scale. Wow, okay. We've covered a lot of ground, from the basic tools to the 4 pillars of best practices, and all the way up to high-level architecture. Now, it's really all about putting these pieces together. If you only take one thing away from our time together today, let it be this. A great production-ready API doesn't happen by accident. It's not luck. It's the result of intentional choices built on a solid foundation of thoughtful design, rock-solid security, and smart architecture. So, with all these principles and practices in your toolkit, the only real question left is, what amazing thing are you going to build next? Happy coding!